Hi guys, welcome back to Bob's Fan TV, and today we're back with another video doing another latest news roundup. No videos in the last couple of weeks, but in the off season, not much is happening really. It's only really the start. Not many rumours, not many signings announced by not just ourselves but other clubs as well. But we actually do have a few rumours to talk about today. Obviously, within the last week and a bit, we announced the signings of Sam Todd and Patrick Hickey, which we expected in the last video. That they were pretty much done deals. We were just waiting on the announcement. And yeah, that they're in the door now. That's two good signs to kick off the window with. We touched on it in the last video, but again, Sam Todd coming in at a good age at 27 has got some experience under his belt in the league as well. Had time at Derry and Finn Harp, CUCD. And obviously a little spell as well up north with Larne. So yeah, that's a good sign. And then Patrick Hickey as well, a player who is a little bit different to what we had in last season. He's a player who I don't think he's just known for being that player that can hang around in the box and get on the end of things and be that target man, but he is a good footballer as well. We mustn't forget that. So yeah, there's two good signings in the door. We'll move on to some other rumours now. The first being Ben Doherty. He's been linked over the last couple of weeks at left back, who is most of last season. He was plagued with injuries. And that could have hindered him. And yeah, I rate him. The last couple of seasons he has sort of stagnated. Like we said, kind of due to injuries. But in his first season, I think he was scoring a lot of goals, and he is a player who can contribute going forward as well. And obviously, being fullbacks are a big priority for us this window. We don't have a natural right back at the moment, as well as a left back. Flores has been filling in there for the last year and a bit, or longer even. And look, he's done well. I thought he was probably our second best player last season after the Voy. But you're going to need more there. You're going to need someone who's a natural left back, and I think we could do a lot worse than Ben Doherty. So we'll see where that one goes. The next player that we've been linked with from Derry is ROUNDUP. So another full back or right back this time. And yeah, there's another sign that I would be very happy with if it came off. I know Tiernan Lynch was talking about how he does want to stay, and they are working on a contract. So whether that one happens or not, we'll wait and see. But still at a good age. Feels like he's been in the league a long time, but I think he's still only 24. So he's got plenty more to offer, of course. And yeah, look, like we said, I think it'd be a great sign if it came off, but it does seem like he does want to stay. It's just that they haven't sorted out contract yet. But if they weren't to come to an agreement with anything, that's when we should be all over. So look, we'll wait and see how those two materialise. The next player we've been linked with is St. Patrick's Athletic striker Connor Carty. A rumour that kind of did the rounds last year as well. He didn't really do much for Pats last season. He wasn't really a key figure. He struggled to get into the team. Obviously, we had Mason Mealy, probably the best young player in the league last season, and he had Aidan Keane as well. So he was a little bit behind in the pecking order. Look, I don't know if this one is one that we should be looking at, to be honest. It's probably not needed. We've got Dougie, you've got Colin Whelan. I don't think either of them are going to be leaving. So you've got two good strikers there. I think the only way you could bring one in is if one of them were to go. So yeah, I don't see it happening really, and it's probably one that we don't need. So yeah, that's Connor Carty. But the next rumour is one that only came out today actually, which was Jake Mulroney, another St. Patrick's Athletic player. It was reported by Dan McDonnell in the Independent today that ourselves, Shales and Rovers are all kind of monitoring the situation. If Pat still decides to let him leave. And look, I think he's clearly a very talented player. Very experienced. He's played in England and America. Came to the league with Pats and done well in his first season. But I was seeing a lot of Pats fans quite critical of his attitude last year. Look, I think there was a lot of problems at Pats. I think there was a lot of players there that are earning a lot of money and maybe just not delivering. And I think he's been kind of included in that group. And look, I think maybe a fresh start is probably needed for him, another going on to a new club. But on his day, there's no doubt that he's a really, really talented player. He's a really tricky customer. He's got pace. He's kind of the winger that we probably don't have at the moment. Rooney's probably the only one that you could really rely on in terms of contributions to goals and assists. Brennan, yeah, of course, he's still a very young player. Got plenty of time to develop. You'd expect that. He's got his first full year of senior football under his belt now. He'll be even better next season, and he'll start scoring more and getting more assists. Parsons, I think the jury's still kind of out on him a little bit. So look, I think maybe another winger is needed. And look, I think I'd welcome this signing if it was to happen. Look, obviously the question marks are there over his attitude, but he's a really talented player. He scored some really, really good goals for Pats during his time there. A couple of really great free kicks. I think he just has that in his locker. Just that moment of quality. So yeah, look, I think I'd be happy with this signing if it happened. Look, obviously there's other clubs sniffing as well, Rovers, Shields, who also have things to offer in terms of Europe, like ourselves. But they might be able to offer him a bit more money, so that's the only problem maybe that we might face in this battle, if we were to go all in on Jake Mulroney. But we'll see how that one materialises. But yeah, that's all for rumours really. In terms of outs, the only really big one at the moment that's still doing the rounds, still we don't know what's going on, is James Clark. It looked like his move to Dundee was all but done. Only a couple of weeks ago we were just waiting on an official announcement, but I think something came out from the press in Scotland that they didn't offer him a deal. No deal is there for him at the moment. So look, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Obviously when you hear that kind of news, you're hoping that maybe a last minute kind of change of heart might happen and he might sign back. But I think it's still probably looking like he will be heading out of the club. And look, it obviously would be a great shame, but let's just hope that maybe something will happen. He'll have that kind of last minute change and he will sign back. But we're still stuck in a bit of limbo with that one. Look, it's only the 1st of December. As I'm recording this, the window's only really officially open today. So we probably will see a bit more movement across the league and with ourselves over the next few weeks. When you're looking at the squad so far, how it's looking, there's obviously positions we need to address. We spoke about fullbacks and wingers here in today's video, and we probably will get those signings over the line. Those players and those positions that we really need. We need a backup goalkeeper as well. Obviously, since the last video, we spoke about James Talbot's future and the fact that he hasn't signed back yet, and it's been confirmed now. We know over the last couple of weeks that he's gone now. He's departed the club. And look, we'll wait and see what's next for him. But obviously, like you said in the last video, great servant to the club. An absolute gentleman. And look, we'll wish him all the very best in his next chapter. But yeah, still very early in the off season. And look, I'm sure there'll be plenty of movement to come over the next few weeks. So yeah, we'll keep you all up to date with that. So yeah, that's where I'll end it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you're thinking about the rumours. Would you take players like Jake Mulroney, Ben Doherty, Ronan Boyce, Connor Carty? Let us know, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.